During the COVID-19 pandemic, I was living in a small village in the Irish countryside. This village was called Walsh Island, which acquired its name due to being surrounded by nothing but bogland. In fact, this was the largest area of raised bogland in the country. Due to COVID restrictions, I was basically stuck in this village and the surrounding area for more than a year. In the early summer of 2021, and having always been a very bad sleeper, I oddly decided to start wandering around the countryside at night. I can't quite recall why I started doing this, but maybe it was because the Irish countryside at night was always spooky. Well, on one particular night, maybe around 10 or 11 p.m., I wandered out the village and onto the narrow country roads, whereby I would pass the occasional cow/sheep field or the property of some home. Around 10 minutes outside the village, I was now walking down a particular country road, with only the light from my phone to guide me, when I suddenly hear a loud but distant howl. There were many dogs in the area, as in the countryside, there are obviously many farms. However, this howl didn't sound like any dog I'd ever heard. Besides, most of the dogs in the area tended to bark rather than howl. This howl did, however, sound very similar to the scream of a fox, except it sounded much deeper and louder than a standard fox scream. The way the howl sounded also gave me the impression that whatever made it must have been large, or at least larger than a fox. To paint a perfect picture of how this howl sounded, I'll say this: has anyone ever seen the movie An American Werewolf in London? The howl I heard that night sounded almost exactly like the howl of the werewolf in that movie. A loud, bellowing shriek of a howl that almost sounds like a fox, but not exactly. Regardless, the sound of this animal was so unnerving to me that I decided to turn straight round and back through the country roads towards the village. I still don't know what animal made the noise I heard that night, but my best guess is that it was either the howl of a very strange sounding dog or the scream of a very strange sounding fox. That being said, Ireland does have its fair share of supposed cryptids, many of which comes from Irish folklore. However, from what I could briefly find, the only Irish cryptids that could match the animal howl I heard would be large phantom wolves that have apparently been sighted in modern times, large phantom black dogs, and even, like America and the English countryside, large black cats like a panther, which are said to be sighted in rural Irish counties. This cryptid theory is a stretch, I know. If anyone has any knowledge of what this howl could have been, whether rational or otherwise, feel free to let me know.